Habit. A habit is an action or a behavior that a person repeats over and over again. Some habits are good and some habits are bad. Smoking is a bad habit. Exercising is a good habit. Eating late at night is a bad habit. Getting up early in the morning is a good habit. It's a bad habit to bite your fingernails. It's a good habit to regularly brush your teeth. Some habits are very hard to break, whether they are good or bad. Developing good study habits is important for a student. What kind of habits do you have? Hack. The word hack has a few different meanings. One popular use of the word identifies the activities of people who break into computers or cell phones. Someone hacked his way into the company's network of computers. Hackers stole credit card numbers and other personal information. To avoid being hacked, you should change your passwords frequently. Brenda's computer was hacked, and now she can't use it. There are other applications for this word as a verb. Tim's job was extremely difficult. He couldn't hack it, so he quit. Mildred was hacking up blood, so she went to the hospital. It took 2 hours to hack down that tree with an axe. The barber hacked off the man's ponytail, which was donated to be made into a wig. You can also use the word hack to describe a person who isn't very good at his job. Ali's accountant is a hack. He should use my accountant. The hack who worked on my car didn't fix the brakes properly. A hacksaw is a type of handsaw with a removable blade. Whenever I need to cut a pipe, I use a hacksaw with a special blade for cutting through metal. Haggle. To haggle is to negotiate on the price or the conditions for a purchase. It's similar to the words bargain or negotiate. After spending 20 minutes haggling on the price of the car, Tony was able to get it for $1,000 less. Many people like to haggle when it comes to a large purchase. They enjoy haggling. Are you good at haggling? You can't haggle on the price of food at the grocery store. Everyone haggles when it comes to the purchase price of a house. Hair. Hair is that stuff that grows from the top of your head and all over your body. If your hair gets too long, you need to get a haircut. Women go to a salon to have their hair styled or dyed. A person who has a lot of hair is said to be hairy. A man who grows hair under his nose has a mustache. A man who grows hair on his chin has a beard. The hair that grows above your eye is an eyebrow. A baby doesn't have much hair. As people get older, they tend to lose their hair. Hair turns gray or white on most elderly people. A person who doesn't have any hair is bald. If you don't like the color of your hair, you can dye it. There are a few expressions that use the word hair. Bob came within a hair of getting that job. The people at the party let down their hair when the music started. Get out of my hair. He's just splitting hairs. Half. Half of something is 50%. As a fraction, it's represented by a 1 over a 2. As a number, it's written with a decimal point before a 5. Let's split this watermelon in two. You take half, and I'll take half. It took half an hour to drive to work. The first half of Renee's day was spent in meetings. She spent the second half of her day in her office. After the first half of a Super Bowl game, there's a halftime show. Edgar spent the first half of his life living in Honduras and the second half of his life living in the United States. He's 50 years old. How many years did he live in Honduras? The plural for this word is halves. Two halves make a whole. The world is split into two halves, the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. There are a few expressions that use the word half. I'll need to discuss this with my better half. Half a loaf is better than none. The team is better by half compared to last year. Six of one, half a dozen to the other. It doesn't matter what you call it. Halt. The word halt is very similar to the word stop, but halt is often used in settings involving business or government. Activity comes to a halt or is brought to a halt. Production of the new product came to a halt when the company ran out of money. News of the travel ban brought visits from certain countries to the United States to a halt. Travel from countries like Iran and Somalia was brought to a halt. Everything came to a halt. Trading on the New York Stock Exchange came to a halt due to a computer malfunction. Doctors are trying to halt the spread of a very infectious new virus. The police officer told the fleeing suspect to immediately halt, or he would be forced to shoot. The city told a local factory that it was operating illegally and would have to halt all of its manufacturing activities. Hammer. A hammer is a tool used for striking objects when building something or tearing something apart. A carpenter uses a hammer to pound nails into pieces of wood. The person who swings the hammer grips it by the handle and aims for a nail. The hammer strikes the nail on the head. The head is the top part of the nail. The face of the hammer hits the head of the nail. The claw is opposite the face. It's used for pulling nails out of wood. You can also use a hammer for breaking something open, such as a piggy bank. A sledgehammer is used for breaking rocks and pounding hard surfaces. A sledgehammer is very heavy. A jackhammer is used for breaking up and removing concrete. The hammer and sickle are symbols for communist ideology. The word hammer is also used as a verb and as a gerund. Someone is hammering nails into a roof. A carpenter hammers nails into 2x4s when building a house. All that hammering is making a lot of noise. Please stop that hammering. Hand. The word hand usually refers to that part of the body that's at the end of an arm and is used for touching, feeling, and manipulating objects. You have a left hand and a right hand. Your hands do a lot of different things during the course of an average day. I use my hands for just about everything that I do. When used as a noun, hand sometimes means assistance. Why don't you give her a hand with those heavy boxes? I can use a hand moving this table. Can I give you a hand with that? We also use hand as a verb when giving something to someone. Would you hand me that screwdriver, please? The mail carrier handed me an envelope. Hand in your homework. As an idiom, you often hear hand used with on or off. He takes a hands-on approach to managing his business. She's very hands-off when it comes to the raising of her children.
Handle. The word handle can be used as a verb or as a noun. When it's a noun, this word describes that part of a device, a tool, or a machine where the hands are placed in order to operate it. Make sure you have a firm grip on the handle when you use a hammer. The handle on my briefcase broke, so I had to buy a new one. Vanessa broke the handle on her tennis racket. When you use handle as a verb, it means to manage or take care of a situation. Is he able to handle the responsibilities in his new job? Our supervisor does a good job of handling difficult customers. Do you know how to handle a snowmobile? Sheila's new car handles well when she's on the highway. Kevin can't handle the pressure at work any longer. Can you handle working under pressure? I can't handle this.
Handy. Use the word handy to describe a person who is good at fixing things. You can also use this word to describe a useful object, such as a tool or a cooking utensil. Ted is very handy. He knows how to fix just about anything. A pocket knife can be very handy. It has knives and tools which you can carry around with you at all times. A cell phone is a handy gadget to own. In addition to using it for calls, you can use it to send text messages, browse the internet, find maps, take pictures, use it as a compass, or use it as an alarm clock. Gloria is a handy person to have around the office. She knows how everything works there. In our kitchen, we always keep a can opener handy because we're always opening cans. We hired a handyman to fix some things around the house. Hang. To hang something is to put it on a wall, on a hook, or around some other object. This is an irregular verb with two different possibilities for the past tense and the past participle. The simple form is hang. The past tense is hung or hanged. The past participle is hung or hanged. I hung my coat in the closet. Where do you hang your clothes? Paintings hang in an art gallery. Signs hang in windows to advertise products. Many Americans hang American flags outside their homes on national holidays. Icicles hang from the eaves of houses in the winter. Businessmen hang neckties around their necks when wearing a suit. The word hang is also used when a person spends time alone or with other people, usually friends. Rogelio likes to hang out with his friends on the weekend. Vanessa has been hanging with some bad people lately. Who do you hang out with? Let's hang this weekend. There's a strange-looking guy hanging around outside the store. He's by himself. The police came by to talk to someone who was hanging around outside of a bank for several hours. There are some popular expressions that use the word hang. Don't leave me hanging. I have another call. Can you hang on? Hang on. I'll be right back. How's it hanging? The patient is still hanging on. There's a form of execution that involves putting a rope around a person's neck. In this case, use the word hang. As a form of frontier justice in the Old West, people were hung for stealing or murder. John Wilkes Booth was hanged for his involvement in the assassination of President Abraham Lincoln. People of a town used to gather to watch a convicted criminal be hung. Hanging is no longer a form of corporal punishment in the United States, but it is still practiced in a few other countries around the world. Happen. The word happen is used for activities, events, accidents, and surprises. It's kind of a tricky verb to use, so you really have to study it. First, let's listen to the way happen is used with the word what. Remember, when a question word serves as the subject, don't use a helping verb. What happened? What happens here every day? What happens if I put these two things together? In the next set of questions, use a helping verb because the question word is not the subject. When did that happen? Where does this usually happen? How can this happen? Why hasn't that happened yet? The word happen is often used in the present tense, the past tense, and the future tense. That happened yesterday. This happens here every day. It won't happen until tomorrow. Happen is also found in many expressions. Hey, what's happening? This can't be happening. We have to make this happen. This party is not happening. Let's go. This is not going to happen. Happy. To be happy is to feel good or experience some sort of goodness. The word happy is a very basic vocabulary word in English, but you should pay close attention to how it is used. Use happy with the verbs be, feel, or seem. Maria is happy. Joe feels happy. Maria and Joe are happy together. They seem happy together. When using happy with the verb make, include an object after the verb. Her children make her happy. His work makes him feel happy. A win will make the team happy. A sunny day makes everyone happier. Problems at work are making me unhappy. Sometimes the word happy is followed by an infinitive. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to help you. We're happy to hear the good news. We're happy to see that everyone is okay. The teacher is happy to meet you. The students are happy to learn new things. You can also be happy for another person. In this case, you celebrate another person's good fortune or success. I'm happy for you. We feel so happy for you. Everyone is happy for the newly married couple. When Charlene announced that she was pregnant, her coworkers all said that they were happy for her. The prepositions about and with are also commonly used with happy. Tom is happy about his new boat. He's happy with his new boat. Maria's happy with her husband. She's happy about living in Nebraska. The drivers are happy about the new freeway. They're happy about all the time they are saving on the new freeway. We're happy with our new furniture. We're happy about getting the furniture on sale. Use the word happy when greeting other people for holiday occasions. Happy New Year. Happy Easter. Happy 4th of July. Happy Thanksgiving. When mixed with a touch of sarcasm, the word happy may have the opposite meaning. This is all your fault. Are you happy now? I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy with yourself. The word happily is an adverb. The students happily returned to school after their vacation. The volunteers happily pitched in to help fix the house of an elderly neighbor. We happily made a donation to the school. The word happiness is a noun. The boy's happiness could not be contained. Latoya wants to share her happiness with other people. Happiness is being able to live in a world of peace. Harass. To harass someone is to cause trouble for a person. It happens again and again, over and over, and sometimes the harassment is illegal. Some of the kids at school harass Jose because of the way he talks and where he comes from. Bill says the police are harassing him because of the way he looks. The mayor of the city sexually harassed some of his staff members. Eventually, he lost his job. When Jill found out who was harassing her, she hired someone to take care of the problem. The noun form of this word is harassment. Our supervisor lost his job because of a sexual harassment incident. Harassment of students is not tolerated at our school. Most schools in the United States have a zero-tolerance policy when it comes to any form of harassment. Hard. This simple yet useful word is very common in English. You can use it as an adjective or an adverb. In this first set of examples, the word hard is an adjective meaning difficult. Our English test was very hard. Jenny likes hard math problems. Joe has a hard job. This is too hard for me to figure out. He has a very hard life. Going through a divorce has been hard. The death of the young boy's mother was hard for him. The word hard also means the opposite of soft. I can't sleep on this bed. The mattress is too hard. The ground is hard because it hasn't rained in several weeks. This butter is too hard. Let it soften up a bit. Feel how hard my muscles are. Gold is a very hard metal. If you use hard as an adverb, it means that something is done to a great degree. Joe works hard. Angelica tries as hard as she can to do well in school. The athletes ran as hard as they could to win the race. I can't bite down too hard on this back tooth because it hurts. Don't drive the horses too hard. You'll wear them out. Hardly. The word hardly is an adverb that we use to describe very small amounts of activity or amounts of time. Amina hardly ever comes to class. Hester hardly ate any of her food. We hardly know anything about the situation. I hardly know you. The students hardly ever raise their hands in class. Bill said he hardly had enough time to finish the test. It hardly snowed here last year, and most people were upset about that. Don't confuse the word hardly with hard. Hardware. Hardware can be just about anything that is used as a fastener, a tool, or a machine. Hardware stores sell almost everything needed for fixing a house or building something. This is a piece of hardware that goes on the end of a screw. It's a nut. I bought some nails at the hardware store. Tools can also be purchased at a hardware store. This tool is called a hammer. The word hardware is often used to describe computers and assorted peripheral devices that work with computers. Inside this laptop is a hard disk drive. That is the part of the machine where programs and digital information are stored. A laptop is a form of hardware. A disk drive is also a form of hardware. A printer connects to a computer and prints out documents. You can think of a printer as hardware. A keyboard is an important piece of hardware used for entering information. The software for a computer tells the machines what to do. Without the software, the hardware doesn't work. Harm. The word harm means to cause injury or hurt someone or something. You can use it as a verb. The simple form is harm. The past tense is harmed. The past participle is harmed. If anyone tries to harm you, call the police. You'll harm yourself if you get too close to the fire. Too much television harms the minds of young children. Ahmed harmed his chances of getting into a good college because of his poor grades in high school. Ashley harmed her back when she tried to pick up some heavy furniture. The word harm is often used as a noun. Cigarette smoking causes a tremendous amount of harm to your body. The harm that was done to the boy's spinal cord was permanent, and he remained paralyzed. No harm was done to any of the hostages held by the militants. They were unharmed. There's no harm in trying to do something new, even if you aren't successful. An adjective can be made by adding full or less to harm. That snake is harmless. It doesn't have any fangs or poison. Kevin thought the joke he played on his friends was harmless, but they were really upset with him. Drinking too much soda pop is harmful to your teeth and your body. Exposure to a lot of radiation can be harmful. Harsh. The word harsh is an adjective that means something is rough or difficult. Winter brings harsh weather to the Midwest. The cold, harsh air stings your fingers. Harsh driving conditions during the snowstorm kept many people off of the roads. The teacher had some harsh words for the misbehaving students. Afterwards, she felt bad about the harsh comments she had made. Some alcoholic drinks, such as whiskey, have kind of a harsh taste. Some fluorescent lamps throw off a harsh, bright light. The 2-year prison sentence given to the teenager who was stealing cars seemed harsh. To form a noun, add ness to the end of harsh. The harshness of the weather forced the family to move to a warmer place. Everyone was shocked by the harshness of the punishment. Harvest. During the fall, farmers harvest their crops. They bring the food they have grown from their fields to the market. Corn, wheat, cucumbers, apples, and squash are among the many things that are harvested at this time of year. Apples and pumpkins in particular are associated with the harvest season. Here are some ways to use harvest as a verb. The farmers are busy harvesting corn at this time of year. It takes a lot of people to harvest apples. They must be picked by hand. John plans to harvest most of his wheat this week. I'm going to have to harvest all of my apples this week because the birds are getting at them. Here are some ways to use harvest as a noun. The farmers in this area had a good harvest this year. They made a lot of money. This year's harvest made up for last year's poor harvest. I had a bad apple harvest last year. The harvesting of corn is going well this year because the fields have been dry. Your friends all say it's fine, buddy.